Hey guys, Evan Lindeman, Denver Interior and Doors. So with the slat wall project here today, we also have to install a wall mount grab rail along this side for something to hold on to as you're coming down the stairs. So I'm going to take you through that process. We're trying to find some studs to mount my rail to my rail brackets there. Some of this wall here is actually part of the foundation, so it's concrete. So we're gonna have to get into that with a bracket at some point too. For now, yeah, we'll just find our studs and our location of our height on that. So I'm gonna do that by giving myself a couple of points off of the nosings. The nosing of the tread is just the front side of the tread. You know, oftentimes where it's overhangs the riser. Often it's rounded, sometimes it is square, but that's the front of the tread there. So that's where the inspectors measure from. For code compliance, you have to be between 34 and 38 inches for a wall mount grab rail. So we put it right in the middle at 36. There we go. I'm gonna want the top of my rail height to be between 34 and 38. So I just go right at 36 with the top of rail height. That rail is 1.5 inches in thickness. And I do need to check my handrail brackets for how deep they sit. So we also ordered these from JMP Wood rail parts supplier online. We really like, I like a lot of their products. They're ahead of the trends, and one of the first ones to come out with some of the more trendy products. So client on this wanted to use a little bit more square handrail bracket versus some of the rounder ones that we have used more common in the past few years. So we'll go check it on our handrail location here. So that appears that this is going to sit about 2.25 inches below our handrail to the center of that mounting hole there. So we also need to get that marked 2.25 down from there. 32 3/4 off the nose of each tread. So I'm gonna mark that there. Where I marked my first nosing location. Transfer this up a little higher. And transfer that mark there. Going again, I'm going 32 3/4 up off the nosings. Transferring this mark. And I'm gonna want to find one up a little bit higher up here. There's that. And that will be my last one before we terminate that rail. Right there, wall mount bracket here. Wall mount bracket here on this one, I believe. And then we'll equally space them 2 more into the foundation, into the cement. So now I'm gonna draw my pitch line, making sure that it's hitting the studs where I need them to. A lot of up and down the stairs. And just double checking that we're at the same height down here, which is right at 32 3/4. And we may actually have some framing starting back here again. It appears so. It'll be my 3rd bracket location. If I can get away with 3 and not have to put 2 into the foundation. And obviously the end will be tied in pretty solid there. So we just have to get past the nosing of this last tread here and past the nosing of that tread there for code compliance in Denver. Not the most robust setup in the world for a smaller job. Yeah, I like to keep it light some days, so I like my tables though, and I like flat things to set stuff on. Double check. 40. feel that that's solid concrete. It sounds hollow there too, but that's my end of my stairs right there. So I'm actually perfect with just 3. What I like to do is fill that with some glue, and then handy little carpenter tricks here. We always kind of carry for stripped out holes and things and doors is golf tees and chopsticks. So these are from Bento Sushi, one of our chopstick suppliers. And we'll just drive, so we drive those in there real tight. And then we'll break them off. And then we have a wood dowel in there, so to say, to install our handrail brackets, which I will also put a little glue behind those so they hold to the wall somewhat. Use a little denatured alcohol here to clean some of the glue residue off there. Also good for cleaning the pencil. And we're gonna go cut our handrail here. Probably should get a rough length on it. It's actually in 2 pieces, so that's good. It's gonna have to be at least 154 overall. That's a good rough length. And this one already has a return end cut on it, set 45, and that'll work for us to start with on the top. Take that in and see where it sits. Double check that's on center. 3 1/4 return there. And just gonna come off the front of this nosing here, the hardwood floor transition, just to be sure, once again, that that's where we're extending our grab rail past. That'll be the minimum termination point there for that. Sometimes looking at the grain, always with stain grade applications, you know, working with raw wood, you always are checking the grain and checking the wood for any kind of uniqueness, any kind of character. This side just having a little bit more knots in it is better suited for the bottom of the handrail versus the top here, which is just a little bit cleaner. So, and we're gonna go cut our 3 1/4 inch return on that one first here. 3 1/4 from the long point there. This will be our bottom return first, based on the way it's cut. And you can tell the baby saw is just strong enough to get through this amount of oak here. And we'll cut another 3 1/4 return. Not the best cut. All right, we got our returns cut. This is gonna be my lower handrail. We'll see where it sits. I do need to cut this end of, I can cut either end of it. I want this side, you can see some of this in here. I want that to be either facing inward for sure, or hopefully cut out of that. So we will actually cut this end and we'll cut it going this direction to return into our wall that way. Just make a little note there. And that'll be the bottom return will go like that. We use this 2P10 CA glue a lot of times if we want something to kind of set up and hold pretty quickly. We get a good little amount going on that side of that. And then this is gonna go like that. Spray some activator on it first. Get a couple of these Collins Tool Company clamps. These are Collins Tool Company clamps here. Those are all directly from the Collins Tool Clamp Company. And Austin Hardwoods. You can buy those at Austin Hardwoods. one of our wood suppliers. Where we got the wood at, actually. And that's how we fold a piece of sandpaper. So we have all the edges we can rotate as we need be. Because these rails are going to be split, we want to have our split right on this this bracket here. So I do want to get this bottom in position here. Got that where I want it. This is going to be right in the middle of that bracket. That's how quick that CA glue sets up. Good carpenter should double check. 5 feet 7 1/4. I should have, so yeah, 7 foot 1/4. Normal wood glue. Give us a little bit more time to get it on both surfaces. Go through and do some minor touches on these with this wood filler. Screw holes underneath here, hide those. Such a small detail, you know. It's little stuff like this, but you know, it's stuff that helps in the long run. The better it looks, happier the client feels about it. Thanks for watching today. Yep, us putting up that wall mount grab rail along the stairs there, along with our slat wall partition guard project here. So that's kind of how we do it. You know, we try to keep the house clean our way out. You know, try and always respect the homeowner's house. If you have a stair project or anything you're looking to chat about, reach out at denverinteriordoors.com.